Good day class, we are the group 7 and today we will discuss about the hydrometeorological hazards. So let's proceed to the introduction of hydrometeorological hazards. So what is hydrometeorological hazards? Hydrometeorological hazards are the processes or the phenomena of atmospheric, hydrological or oceanographic nature. So these hydrometeorological hazards, it may cause loss of life, injury or other health impacts, property damages, loss of livelihoods and services, social and economic disruptions, or even environmental damages. Hydrometeorological hazards it includes tropical cyclones like hurricane and typhoons, thunderstorms like Bagyo Punay, hailstorms, tornadoes or buhawi, cold spells, heavy snowfall, flash floods or floods, drought, heat waves, storm surges, and blizzard. These hydrometeorological hazards, it has also a condition that can be a factor in other hazards such as landslides, wildfires, locust plugs, epidemics, and volcanic eruptions. So these hydrometeorological hazards, it has a different potential, and these following are the most common hydrometeorological hazards as defined by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or as we call that, NOAA. So those are the cyclone, typhoon, flood, storm surge, tornado, flash flood, thunderstorm, and El Nino and La Nina. So let's start with cyclone, a powerful spinning storm that contains strong wind and rain. So what is cyclone? A cyclone is an intense low pressure system which is characterized by a strong spiral winds towards the center, or which we call the eye. Due to this cyclone, it brings winds with heavy rainfall that can cause widespread flooding or flash floods, storm surges, landslide, and mud flows. So this cyclone, it has a different classification. First one is the tropical depression. It has a maximum wind from 35 kilometers per hour to 63 kilometers per hour. It can bring significant amount of rain, thunderstorm, and devastating floods. Second one is tropical storm. It has a maximum wind from 64 kilometers per hour to 118 kilometers per hour. And this tropical storm, it can bring dangerous waves that pose a significant hazard to mariners and coastal residents and visitors. And also, it brings deadly rip currents. And lastly, the typhoon. It has a maximum wind exceeding 218 kilometers per hour. This one is big and it brings rotating storm that carries wind, rain, and destruction. So let's proceed to the typhoon. Typhoon is a large, powerful, and violent tropical cyclone. It is a low pressure, a rotating counterclockwise and containing rising warm air that forms over warm water in the western Pacific Ocean. This typhoon, it has different tropical cyclones are called the tropical depression and the tropical storms. This typhoon, it has different names in different countries. In Atlantic Ocean, they call as hurricane. In India Ocean, typhoon they call as cyclone. In Australia, they call as Willy. Typhoons can inflict terrible damage due to thunderstorms, violent winds, torrential rain, floods, landslides, large and very big waves, and that is associated with the storm surges. Next one is thunderstorm. Thunderstorm is a weather condition that produces lightning and thunder, heavy rainfall from cumulonimbus clouds, and possibly a tornado. And this thunderstorm, it is a violent local disturbance accompanied by lightning, thunder, and heavy rain, and often by a strong gust of wind. The typical thunderstorm caused by convection occurs when the sun's warmth has heated a large body of moist air near the ground. This air rises called expansion, and it wholly condenses the water vapor present in the air and forming a cumulus cloud. So let's proceed to tornado. Tornado is described as violent rotating column of air extending from thunderstorm to the ground, and tornadoes come in many sizes. But they are typically in a form of visible condensation funnel, which is narrow and touches the earth and is often encircled by a cloud of debris. Tornado, it has a wide range of colors depending on the environment. Typically, it may appear nearly transparent and invisible until dust and debris are picked up, and it has developed from severe thunderstorms in warm and stable air along and ahead of cold fronts. So next one is flash floods. Flash floods is a rapid flooding of geographic low-lying areas like washes, rivers, dry lakes, and basins. And these flash floods, it has a very fast speeds, can roll boulders, tear out trees, destroy buildings, and obliterate bridges. Flash floods may occur after the collapse of natural ice or debris dam or a human structure such as man-made dam. And flash floods are distinguished from regular floods by a time scale of less than 6 hours. And it has a different common causes of flash floods. The causes are the heavy rain with a severe thunderstorm, tropical storm, meltwater from ice, snow flowing over ice sheets or snowfields, hurricane. Next one is flood. Flood is an inundation of land areas which are not normally covered by water. Flood is usually caused by a temporary rise of water or overflowing of a river or stream or other water course and inundating of adjacent lands or flood plains. And the most factors of causing floods are the temporary rise of lakes, oceans, or reservoirs and or other enclosed bodies of water. It has heavy prolonged rainfall associated with tropical cyclones, monsoons, intertropical convergence zones, or active low pressure areas. And a debris jam causes a river or a stream to overflow and flood to surrounding area. These floods are basically hydrological phenomena that caused by storm surges and tsunami along the coastal areas. And these floods, it has two key elements that can be identified. What be the intensity and the duration. The intensity is the rate of the rainfall, and the duration is how long the rain lasts.
Storm surge is the rise of the seawater above normal sea level over the coasts, generated by the action of weather elements such as cyclonic wind and atmospheric pressure. Sea level is raised and driven towards the coast, where the depth is shallow and the slope of the seabed is gradual. The natural flow of water is delayed by the effect of friction in the seabed. As more water moves from the sea to the coast, excess water piles up on the shoreline. This filling up of water makes a large volume of water which might eventually flow into hinterland some distance from the coasts, depending upon the shape of the coastline and the slope of the seabed. Storm surge can sweep across large portions of coastal areas. El Niño and La Niña are complex weather patterns resulting from variation in ocean temperature in the equatorial Pacific. These two phenomena are opposite phases of what is known as the El Niño Southern Oscillation or ENSO cycle. The ENSO cycle is a scientific term that describes the fluctuation in temperature between the ocean and the atmosphere in the East Central Equatorial Pacific, approximately between the international dateline and 120 degrees west. La Niña is sometimes referred to as the cold phase of ENSO and El Niño as the warm phase of ENSO. These deviations from normal surface temperature can have large-scale impacts not only on ocean processes but also on global weather and climate. El Niño and La Niña episodes typically last 9 to 12 months, but some prolonged events may last years. While their frequency can be quite irregular, El Niño and La Niña events occur on average every 2 to 7 years. Typically, El Niño occurs more frequently than La Niña. According to Herald Tribune 2011, the general sequence of events that could occur during the development of a Category 2 typhoon or hurricane, wind speed 96 to 110 mph, approaching a coastal area. 96 hours before landfall. At first, there are not any apparent signs of storm. The barometer is steady, winds are light and variable, and fair weather cumulus clouds appear. 72 hours before landfall. Little has changed except that the swell on the ocean surface has increased to about 6 feet and the waves come in every 9 seconds. This means that the storm far over the horizon is approaching. 48 hours before landfall. The sky is now clear of clouds. The barometer is steady and the wind is almost calm, and the swell is now about 9 feet and coming in every 8 seconds. 36 hours before landfall. The first signs of the storm appear. The barometer is falling slightly. The wind is around 11 mph and the ocean swell is about 13 feet and coming in 7 seconds apart. On the horizon, a large mass of white cirrus clouds appear. As veil of clouds approaches, it covers more of the horizon. A hurricane watch is issued and areas with long evacuation times are given the order to begin. 30 hours before landfall. The sky is covered by a high overcast. The barometer is falling at 0.1 millibar per hour. Winds pick up to about 23 mph. The ocean swell, coming in 5 seconds apart, is beginning to be obscured by wind-driven waves, and small white caps begin to appear on the ocean surface. 24 hours before landfall. Small low clouds appear overhead. The barometer is falling by 0.2 millibar per hour. The wind picks up to 24 mph. The wind-driven waves are covered in white caps and streaks of foam begin to ride over the surface. Evacuation should be completed and final preparation made by this time. A hurricane warning is issued and people living in low-lying areas and in mobile homes are ordered to evacuate. 18 hours before landfall. The low clouds are thicker and bring driving rain squalls with gusty winds. The barometer is steadily falling at half a millibar per hour and the winds are whistling by at 46 mph. It is hard to stand against in the wind. 12 hours before landfall. The rain squalls are more frequent and the wind don't diminish after they depart. The cloud ceiling is getting lower and the barometer is falling at 1 millibar per hour. The wind is howling at hurricane force at 74 mph. The sea advances with every storm wave that crashes ashore and foam patches. 6 hours before landfall. The rain is constant and the 92 mph wind drives it horizontally. The barometer is falling 1.5 millibar per hour and storm surge has advanced above the high tide mark. The sea surface a whistle mass of spray. It is impossible to stand upright outside without bracing yourself. 1 hour before landfall. The rain becomes heavier. Low areas inland become flooded. The winds are at 104 mph and the barometer is falling at 2 millibar per hour. The sea is white with foam and streaks. The storm surge has covered coastal roads and 16-foot waves crashed into buildings near the shore. As the hours decreases and before the storm surge has its landfall, the storm surge became stronger and stronger, and it will become so very harmful as well as to the people that live in a coastal area. We should immediately evacuate and pray that God will protect us from the storm surge. Landfall, the eye of the storm. Just as the storm reaches its peak, the winds begin to slacken, and the sky starts to brighten. The air ends abruptly and the clouds break and blue sky is seen. The barometer continues falling at 3 millibar per hour and storm surge reaches the farthest inland. The wind falls to near calm, but the air is uncomfortably warm and humid. Huge walls of cloud appear on every side, brilliant white in the sunlight. At this point, the barometer stops falling and in a moment begins to rise. Soon as fast as it fell, the winds begin to pick up slightly and the clouds on the far side of the eye wall loom overhead. Tools in tracking the storm. First is satellite. It is the most advanced technology used in monitoring a cyclone or typhoon. It can visualize exactly in real time the formation and the path of a cyclone. Next is Doppler radar. Doppler radar is an acronym for radio detection and ranging. Radar detection devices emit and receive radio waves to determine the distance from the source to the object by measuring the time it takes for the echo of the wave to return. Specifically, weather radar measures the direction and the speed of moving objects, such as precipitation, and has a capacity to measure the velocity of the particles in order to determine the rate of which the particles are falling. How does a Doppler radar work? Doppler radar bounces sound waves off the storm clouds. Doppler radar can tell if raindrops are moving toward or away from observers, and it can spot spinning movements in clouds. This helps scientists predict which way storms will travel.
Hello everyone, I am Justine with Macasi, and today let us discuss about the preparedness and mitigation before, during, and after the typhoon and thunderstorm. So, the following preparedness and mitigation strategies are adopted from the Department of Education Disaster Risk Reduction Resource Manual on 2008. Let us know first what is typhoon. So typhoon is a type of a large storm system having a circular or spiral system of violent winds, typically hundreds of kilometers or miles in diameter. It is a giant rotating storm that brings winds, rain, and destruction. Preparedness on what to do before the typhoon. So number one is establish and maintain coordination with Barangay Disaster Coordinating Council or BDCC and personnel. So, kailangan natin makipag-unayan or makipag-coordinate sa barangay para in case kung may mangyaring magsakuna, alam natin kung ano ang ating gagawin. Second is ensure that house can withstand heavy rain and strong winds. So, kung magpapatayo man tayo ng bahay, kailangan natin siguraduhin na ito ay matibay, lalo na pag may malalakas na hangin or malalakas na pag-ulan na mangyayari. Learn more about typhoon and other weather disturbances, their signs and warnings, effect and dangers, and how to protect house and other property. So, kailangan din natin malaman yung mga signs and warnings and what are the effect and dangers of the typhoon. Next is learn more something relevant to mitigation and preparedness for tropical cyclones. And the last is participate actively to schools disaster response drill or simulation. So kailangan natin kung magkakaroon man ng drill or simulation sa school natin is kailangan nating mag-participate. Let's proceed to the response on what to do during the typhoon. So first is monitor through radio or other reliable sources that latest official report of pag-asa on the typhoon. So kailangan natin ng reliable sources kagaya ng TV, radio, or cellphone para magiging updated tayo sa kung ano man ang nangyayari sa typhoon. When house is no longer safe, evacuate immediately to safer place like evacuation center or in the house of your relatives that are proven stable and can withstand strong winds and rain. Next is stay indoors and away from windows. So kung nasa loob tayo ng bahay, kailangan nating lumayo sa mga sa window, lalong-lalo na pag ang inyong bintana is glass dahil baka sa sobrang lakas ng hangin or ng ulan, masira ito or mabasag. Next is keep open line of communication with relatives that are not affected to keep them posted. The communication is the most important, lalo-lalo sa ganitong sitwasyon para hindi sila mag-alala sa atin kung ano na ang nangyayari sa atin. Last is ensure that members of the family will remain calm by keeping them informed of the latest development. So, kailangan natin mananatiling kalmado, lalong-lalo na yung mga matatanda or mga parents natin, and always natin sila inform sa mga latest development na nangyayari. Let's proceed to the rehabilitation on what to do after the typhoon. So first is help attending the victims immediately for minor cuts and wounds and apply first aid. So kung may mga victims man na may mga minor na sugat, so bibigyan natin sila ng first aid. In case of major cuts and wounds, seek necessary medical assistance at disaster station or hospital. So kung may malalaki na siyang sugat at hindi na kaya ng first aid, so pwede tayo manghingi ng assistance. Kailangan nating humingi ng medical assistance sa disaster station or pwede nating dalhin na rin sila sa hospital. Next is help in checking the house for damages and losses, not damages that require immediate repair, example, electrical connection and water supply. Kung nakauwi na tayo sa ating bahay, kailangan nating i-check kung ano man yung damage or na mga nawala sa bahay, kagaya na lang ng electricity, kung nawalan tayo ng electricity or nawalan tayo ng supply ng tubig. Last is coordinate with barangay officials and LGUs for assistance. So kung may mga damage man or mga nawala sa bahay nyo, kailangan natin makipag-coordinate sa barangay o sa mga LGU para mabigyan tayo ng assistance.
Hi everyone, I'm Glydiene our Punay. Today I'm going to discuss about the preparedness and mitigation when it comes to thunderstorms. But before that, let me tell you first what is a thunderstorm. A thunderstorm, or also known as an electrical storm or lightning storm, that is characterized by the presence of lightning and its acoustic effects on the Earth's atmosphere, also known as thunder. Relatively weak thunderstorms are sometimes called thunder showers. Thunderstorms occur in a type of cloud known as cumulonimbus. They are usually accompanied by strong winds and often produce heavy rain and sometimes snow, sleet, or hail. So there are four types of thunderstorms. First is the single cell storm. It's a storm that typically lasts 20 to 30 minutes. Most storms can produce severe weather elements such as downbursts, hail, some heavy rainfalls, and occasionally weak tornadoes. So the second type is the multi-cell cluster storms, a group of cells moving as a single unit with each cell in a different stage of the thunderstorm life cycle. Multi-cell storms can produce moderate-sized hail, flash floods, and also weak tornadoes. So the third one is the multi-cell line storms. Multi-cell line storms consist of a line of storms with a continuous, well-developed gas front at the leading edge of the line, also known as squall lines. These storms can produce small to moderate-sized hail, occasional flash floods, and also weak tornadoes. Lastly is the supercells. It is defined as a thunderstorm with rotating updraft. These storms can produce strong downbursts, large hail, occasional flash floods, and weak to violent tornadoes. What to do or how to prepare before. Develop a preparedness plan with your family. So here are the specific planning should include the following in case of severe thunderstorms. You must learn more about your area's severe thunderstorm list. Number 2 is discuss with your family how would you know if a thunderstorm may produce a tornado. So next is discuss how to be warned of an approaching thunderstorms with your family or possible watch weather forecasts on televisions or listen to radios. Next is recommend trimming and removal of dead or rotting trees that could fall and may cause damages or injuries to your families. Secure outdoor objects that could be blown away and cause damages. And also secure house doors and windows both from the inside of your house and outside. Lastly, you must learn to how to estimate the distance of the thunderclouds by computing the difference in time or seconds between seeing the flash of lightning and hearing the claps of thunders. 1 second is equivalent to 1,000 feet. What to do during or how to respond when there is a thunderstorm. First, learn to do the lightning safety position and stay away from the structures, trees, towers, fences, telephone lines, or power lines if it's out in the open. Second is carefully watch out for falling debris and flash floods. Stay calm throughout the occurrence of thunderstorm. Possible, postpone all your outdoor activities. So next is avoid plumbing and bathroom fixtures that are good conductors of electricity. Next is unplug or turn off all your appliances and other electrical items such as your computers. Next is turn off your air conditioner and television and stay away from your phone until the storm is over. Instead, use a battery-operated radio for gaining information from the outside. Next is choose and move to a safe place with your family in your house if there is any available. A member of the family can gather together during a thunderstorm, preferably on lowest floor of your house.
Lightning safety position. Lightning safety experts have invented a lightning safety position that is very important to know if you are caught in a thunderstorm and you can't find a shelter. This position looks hard, but it could save your life. There are several reasons for doing it. First, it makes you a smaller target. With your heels together, if lightning hits the ground, it goes through the closest foot of your heel and then transfers to the other foot and goes back to the ground again. If you don't put your feet together, lightning could go through your heart and kill you. You put your hands over your ears to protect them from thunder.
Hello everyone, my name is Ariane and Lapis. So I will discuss about the lightning safety position, tornadoes, floods, and flash floods. Lightning is hotter than the surface of the sun, so it is 5 times hotter. A bolt shooting up from the ground to a cloud after a stream of electricity came downward from a cloud can peak at 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The surface of the sun is around 11,000 degrees Fahrenheit. How to survive a lightning strike? First, crouch down low like a baseball catcher. Get as low as you can. The nearer you are to the ground, the less likely you are to be struck by lightning, but never lay down. Second, don't touch any possible conductors. What is conductors and insulators? Electrical conductors are materials that conduct electricity, and insulators are materials that do not. Example of conductors: silver, gold, copper, steel, seawater. Example of insulators: rubber, glass, oil, diamond, and dry wood. If your hair begins to stand on the end or your skin starts to tingle, a lightning strike is imminent. Immediately get into the crouching position. Lightning may strike without this warning. Place hand over ears to minimize hearing loss from the loud clap of thunder that will boom very close to you. The only thing that touching the ground should be the balls of your feet. Lightning can hit the ground first and then enter your body. The more you minimize your contact with the ground, the less chance of electricity entering your body. Touch the heels of your feet together. For example, this is the feet, and this is the heels of your feet. So, if the electricity from a ground strike enters your feet, this increases the chances of the electricity going in one foot and out to the other, rather than into the rest of your body. Tornado. A tornado is a violently rotating column of air that is in contact with both the surface of the earth and a cumulonimbus cloud, or in rare cases, the base of cumulus cloud. What to do before the tornado? First, develop a preparedness plan for the whole family. Second, have a periodic drills with the members of the family. Third, inspect pre-designated areas to ensure the best protection. Fourth, keep an open line communication with the other members of the family. Fifth, listen to the radio and television for information. Sixth, store flashlight and backup batteries to receive warnings response. Next is response. What to do during tornado? First, move to pre-designated area or an interior room on the lowest floor and get under a sturdy place of furniture. Second, stay away from windows. Third, lie flat in a depression if caught outside your house or school or any building. Next, rehabilitation. What to do after tornado? First, attend to survivors immediately. Second, check the house for damages and losses. Third, coordinate with proper authorities for assistance. Planning in advance will help ensure that all the members of your households, including children and people with disabilities and other access and functional needs, know how to reach each other and where to meet up in an emergency. Flood and flash floods. Flood, an overflow of water onto normally dry land. Flooding is longer-term event than flash flood. Flash floods can occur due to the dam or mudslide, also known as debris flow, etc. Preparedness. What to do before flood and flash flood? First, find out the frequency of occurrence of floods in locality, especially those that affect your area. Second, know the flood warning system in your locality. If none exists, recommend to the appropriate authority for the creation of one. Research from previous occurrences how fast the water floods occur in your area and how it rises. Fourth, if it has been raining hard for several hours or steadily raining several days, be alert to possibility of a flood. Floods happen as the ground becomes saturated. Watch out for rapidly rising of water and help prepare the family for evacuation. Sixth, switch off the electricity and lock the rooms after all have gone out. Have a handy survival kit. It should contain battery-operated transistor radio, flashlight, emergency cooking equipment, candies, matches, and first aid kit. 7. Use a radio or a portable battery-powered radio or television for updated information. Local stations provide the best advice for your particular situation. Floods and flash floods may result from rain, snow, coastal storms, storm surge, overflowing of dam, and other water system. It causes outage, disrupt transportation, damage building, and create landslide. If you're not prepared for the possibility of flood and flash flood, the recovery can be slow and stressful. Preparing an emergency kit can help you to survive the effect of this.
This is the part 2 of Ariane presentation, and I'm Mr. Erick Peñol in the continuation of his presentation. So I start. Response: what to do during. Stay calm and keep updated with the status of the situation and safety reminders on what to do and where to go in case of evacuation. So listen continuously to the radio and portable batteries. Listen continuously to a radio or a portable batteries, a powered radio or television to update from emergency. Attempt to cross flowing streams unless assured that the water below the knee high level. If the water is above the knee. Avoid area prone to flash flood. Be continuous to the off-water covered roads, bridges, creek, and stream bank in recently flood areas. So just avoid the area with the prone of flash flood. So like something like muddy rock and something like that, or if you feel that something is going to quake, especially for creek. Do not swim or floating in swollen river. So in case of flash flood, do not swim in river because the current is too aggressive. So watch out for snakes in flooded areas. So eat only well-cooked food and drinks only clean and preferred boiled water, and throw away all food that has scalp contact. So this advice is just eat only well-cooked food. So this advice is eat only well-cooked foods, and well-cooked foods is like, so just make your body healthy and well. So this rehabilitation, what do you refer? Rehabilitation means rehab or something you make stay or shelter in the shelter. It's like that. Rehabilitation, what to do after. Report broken utility lines, electricity, water, gas, etc. Immediately to appropriate agencies, authorities. So, especially if you have contact, just report about the electricity or something you need to fix, because it will contact with water, it will make wrong, so it's dangerous. Ensure that electrical appliances are checked by a competent electrician before switching them on. So make sure that the electrical appliance, especially for refrigerators, something like that, or appliances or plug appliances, so make it check, especially if there is flood or raining or something called bagyo. Make sure that you switch the plug off. That's for your safety. Avoid affected areas. Continue to listen to a radio, local television station, and return home only when authorities indicate it's safe to do so. So just continue to listen. just keep updated yourself. Stay away from any building and still flooded. So just like when flood, so it might may cause it might something technical problems in the ground, so it might be cost of it. So this is next part, storm surge preparedness. What to do before. Know the storm surge risk zone is identify safer ground for relocation necessary. And ensure that everyone is familiar with the identified escape routes of the family higher ground. So background of the storm surge. Storm surge is a high blowing of wind and rising of the sea levels. Stay off the beach when weather and disturbance exist. So just stay off the beach. Help establish evacuation plan and procedure. So make an emergency plan in situation like that. Participate in the regular conduct of drills and exercise. Respond what to do during. So immediately move to the higher ground upon the detection of sign of a probable storm surge or upon receiving a warning to the storm surge is imminent. So you might feel you're safe. So just move to the high ground and make your feels. If you feel like you're away from the sea and you feel safe enough to be alert of and stay away from steep high coastal areas which are prone to landslides. So switch off power supply. So just switch all the supplies, especially your blanket and your all. Stay on in the end. Land sideways from political flow of water. Caught in a storm surge, they called a large boulder or tree trunk, which can provide protection from any force of water and derbies carried by flowing water. So if you're in situation like when the storm surge and you got caught by storm surge, so and just find any tree, so just hug the tree. It's in rehabilitation. What to do after? So in rehabilitation, do not eat fresh foods or came in contact with flood water. Just take the canned foods. Drink water should be submitted to proper authorities for testing. So drink mineral water, something filtered water, purified water, so make your body not toxic. Check damage of the house, ensure there is no danger of collapse. So make sure that your house has no crack. Check house for electrical damage and open live wires. Electrical fixtures should only be switched on after making sure that it's safe to do. So check house. So make sure that there is no broken wires at all, because it may cause ground or may something harm for you. So lastly, help clean all mud and debris immediately. So just clean your house. That's all. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Labuayan, and now I'm reporting the hydrometeorological hazard maps. So let's start. So the examples of hydrometeorological hazards are hydrometeorological hazards flooding, hydrometeorological hazards tropical cyclones, and hydrometeorological hazard drought. So the tools for monitoring hydrometeorological hazards is the Project NOAA. So what is the Project NOAA? Project NOAA is the Department of Science and Technology's response to the call of President Benigno S. Aquino III for a more accurate, integrated, and responsive disaster prevention and mitigation system, especially in high-risk areas throughout the Philippines. So, ginawa ang Project NOAA upang mabantayan ang mga area sa Pilipinas na prone to earthquakes, prone to landslides, and also the floods. So, the project will harness technologies and management services for disaster risk reduction activities offered by the DOST through PAG-ASA, PHIVOX, and the DOST Advanced Science and Technology Institute o ASTI in partnership with the UP National Institute of Geological Sciences and the UP College of Engineering. So, here are the components of the Project NOAA. First, the distribution of hydrometeorological devices in hard-hit areas in the Philippines, or Hydromet. A total of 600 automated rain gauges, or ARG, and 400 water level monitoring stations, or WLMS, will be installed along the country's 18 major river basins, RBs, by December 2013 to provide a better picture of the country's surface water in relation to flooding. So, in this device, makikita nyo ito sa mga tulay na minomonitor nila kung tataas ba ang level ng tubig o gaano ba kalakas ang current ng tubig o ng baha. Number 2, Disaster Risk Exposure Assessment for Mitigation, Light Detection and Ranging, or the DREAM LIDAR project. So the project, which is targeted to be completed by December 2013, aims to produce more accurate flood inundation and hazard maps in 3D for the country's flood-prone and major river systems and watershed. So this device is para siyang scanner upang makita nila sa kanilang mapa na ano bang area ang prone to landslide, prone to flood, at also saan ba makikita ang mga watersheds, and also also ang mga malalaking river systems. Enhancing geohazards mapping through LIDAR. The project, which is targeted to be completed by December 2014, shall use LIDAR technology and computer-assisted analysis to identify exact areas prone to landslide. So in this picture, makikita nyo na maraming iba't ibang kulay, but ginawa ng DOST yan upang mamonitor nila kung saan ba ang prone sa landslide, sa flash floods, sa iba't ibang klaseng kalamidad, at they use this color upang mamonitor nila kung ano ba ang klaseng area na prone ba sa baha o sa landslide. So the Coastal Hazards and Storm Surge Assessment and Mitigation, or CHASM. CHASM, which is targeted to be completed by December 2014, will generate wave surge, wave refraction, and coastal circulation models to understand and recommend solutions for coastal erosion. So, ang CHASM project ay ginawa upang mamonitor nila o paano ba nila ayusin ang sira na nagkakaroon, ang sira ng dahil sa bagyo in the coastal areas, at paano ba nila ito patitibayin, at what should be the plan to do, na ano ba ang dapat akbang na gagawin upang madaling masolusyonan ang mga problema na ito. Flood Information Network, or FloodNet project. Targeted to be completed by December 2013, is a flood center that will provide timely and accurate information for flood early warning systems. The FloodNet project will come up with computer models for the critical RBs, automate the process of data gathering, modeling and information output, and release flood forecast. So nakikita nyo na ang FloodNet ay ginagamit upang magkaroon ng upang ma-monitor nila ang flood prone areas, kung kailangan na ba silang i-evacuate o kumbaga nabibigay siya ng warning sa mga lugar na flood prone. So local development of Doppler radar systems, or LADARs. LADARs seeks to develop local capacity to design, fabricate, and operate subsystems of Doppler radars for remotely sensing the dynamic parameters of sea surface, such as wave, wind, field, and surface current velocity. Namomonitor ng pag-asa or DOST kung gaano ba kalakas ang isang bagyo or meron bang isang low pressure area sa isang lugar, at ma-monitor nila at i-forecast nila ito upang malaman ng mga tao na at maging handa sila. So, Landslide Sensors Development Project. This project is a low-cost, locally developed, sensor-based early monitoring and warning system for landslides, slope failures, and debris flow. As of May 2012, 10 sensors have been installed in San Francisco, Surigao del Norte, Tago, Surigao del Sur, Tublay, Bugyas, and Bocod in Benguet, Gulhulngan City, Negros Occidental, St. Bernard, Southern Leyte, and Tubungan, Iloilo. Additional sensors are expected to be deployed to not less than 50 by 2013. So this type of device is sensor based, and also namomonitor nila ang mga lugar na kung saan merong prone to landslide, or meron bang mga areas na dapat iwasan during umuulan, or di kaya naman gaano ba katigas o ano ba ang dapat gawing hakbang upang maiwasan ang mga event na ito. So, Weather Hazard Information Project, or WIP. WIP involves the utilization of platforms such as television, DOSTV, and a web portal, or http://noaa.dost.gov.ph, which display real-time satellite, Doppler radar, ARG, and WLNS data to empower LGUs and communities to prepare against extreme natural hazard. This is complemented by activities such as conducting of IEC, information, education, and communication activities, and B, the processing and packaging of relevant and up-to-date information for public use. So this WIP project is used to monitor the areas na palaging nasasalanta o kumbaga nagkakaroon ng landslide at flash flood, at naibibigay nito na ang information na kailangan upang mabigyan ng warning ang mga community at other LGUs upang ang kanilang mga nasasakupan ay hindi magkaroon ng malaking aksidente at maiiwasan nila ito. So that's all. Thank you.